name's Darlene, and I have Parkinson's. Today is Make It Monday, and we're going to make some green split pea soup. So I'm just going to do the first part of this and then put it on because it has to cook for an hour, and then I'll come back and do the rest. Not feeling very good right now. I'm hoping in an hour I'm going to feel better. I took 2 cups of green split peas and I washed them, and then I added 9 cups of water. Now I have a ham shank bone here, which I got from the butcher department, and I have an onion, and I'm going to put that in. I'm going to chop the onion up and put that in there. It doesn't matter how fine a dice it is. Just, you know, just a bit of a, oops, here, you can't see me. Let me just see if I go this way. No, I have to come this way. Well, you've seen me chop an onion. I'm going to just pop that into the pot. And then the only spice that I'm putting in here is I'm going to put a little bit of pepper, and I'm going to put a little tiny bit of basil. So just a pinch of pepper, and I'm going to take about a half a teaspoon of basil. Kind of dangerous today with this knife. Okay. Now, put this in the pot. Now the other ingredients that I'm going to do when I come back, I'm going to be adding some celery and a carrot. But this has to cook for an hour, and then I'm going to be able to take the bone out and let it cool and pull the meat that's on that bone off of it. If you don't have a ham shank, you can use just a piece of ham or whatever. So now I'm going to put a pinch of pepper, and I'm going to put I actually don't have basil. I've just got Italian spice, which is got the majority of its basil, but there's some oregano in it. But oregano goes fine with this too, so. Okay, here we are. There we are. Okay, so I'm going to put that on the stove, and I will come back in an hour. You know what, I thought while that was cooking, I might come back and just tell a story or something. And I'll just, here, I'm going to move the camera so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, maybe that'll work there. Let's just take a peek. Yes, I can work with that. There we are. So I thought I would tell you a story about the first Christmas that Bill and I were having, second Christmas we were having together. And our first Christmas we hadn't known each other very long at all. And second Christmas we were living together. We were already married. We were already married. Anyway, we were getting ready for our Christmas, and I said to him, you know, nobody has ever bought me a really expensive Christmas present. I think that this should be the start of something new. I should get an expensive Christmas present. And my mother was appalled. She says to me, you don't talk to people like that. You do not tell them that you want something expensive. Like, who raised you? Anyway, so I said to him, whatever you do, I don't want any kitchen appliances. I said, I want something that's personal. Anyhow, Christmas was coming, and he kept going, and every time we were in a store, he was looking at these griddles. And I said to him, I don't want a griddle. I said, that's an appliance. I don't want a griddle. Well, he kept looking at these griddles, and I said to him, I know you're going to do that. Sure enough, appears below the Christmas tree a box that's all wrapped up. Exactly, my griddle. I said to him, I told you I didn't want that. I said, please, I don't want to be upset on Christmas morning. Just take it back. I don't care if I don't get anything. Just take it back. I don't want a griddle. Anyway, he says, I'm not taking it back. I said, you know, it's a gift and you get what you get. Anywho, I was not being a very nice person, and my mother was really appalled at my behavior. Christmas morning comes, and we open all the gifts that are below the tree, and I just left that griddle sitting in that box. It's the last thing under the tree, and Bill says to me, he says, you've got one more gift in there. And I said to him, listen, I don't want to make a scene. I said, I just don't want to open it right now. He says, just open it. And my mom says, she was over at our house that morning, and my mom says, Darlene, if I have to tell you one more time that you're acting childish, she said, just get up and be grateful for what you get. Anyway, I went and I opened this gift grudgingly. I will admit, I was very grudging about it. I was not a nice person. And I opened this gift, and all that's in there is my father's briefcase and a poem that my mother has written. She was a great poet. She wrote all kinds of poetry. Anyway, a poem that my mother had written that said about greedy people shouldn't get anything, and I was lucky that I had a person that was giving me something, and she just really carried on and whatnot, made me feel terrible, but I deserved to be feeling terrible. And then she said, you're just lucky that he didn't buy you just the griddle. She says, out you go, and your present is out in Dad's car. And I went out to Dad's car, and there it was a kitchen appliance, but it was a microwave oven, a great big microwave oven that back at that time was like very expensive. I mean, the microwaves had just started to come out and were very expensive, and I couldn't believe it. But anyway, the joke of the whole thing was, at the end of it all, I said to him, I really could have used a griddle. But anyway, I never again was that greedy person that did that. And and now the gifts is the least of what we do. We never hardly worry about getting it for each other. But at the time, I had never had a big gift given to me, and I thought that I deserved it. And I was like, oh my gosh. But this poem that Mom had written, they got me good, let me tell you. So anyhow, I'm just about finished cutting up these little bits of veg. And then my pot is cooking. It still has to cook for a ways. But I thought I'm not going to cut the potatoes up just yet because I don't want them to go brown before I put them in. But I thought I would just cut these couple of things up and tell you the story. And then when we come back, we'll just add this to the pot and cook it for a bit longer. It's one of those soups that, you don't really have to babysit even. You just have to stir now and then and do just a tiny little bit of chopping. It's not even very much. So I just got that. I've got one more celery stalk to do. I did 1 carrot and I did 2 celery stalks, and I will do 2 potatoes. They're small little potatoes though. And it also, the recipe also says that if you want, you can put a half of a turnip in. And I would do that if I had one, but I don't have one. And I didn't think of it when I was at the store. I was just picking up what I knew I needed, and I didn't think of the turnip. So I'm not going to worry about the turnip. It said optional, so I opted to not do it this time. But there, that's all this chopping. I can just go and give my pot a stir, and we'll come back when it's ready for me. Okay, we're back. Okay, I just diced up a little tiny bit of, oops, here, I'm going to move you back again. I diced up a little bit of the meat that was on that ham hock, and then put the hock back in the pot. I will pull it out then when it's done. I've diced up these other pieces of carrot and celery. I'm just going to dice up these 2 small potatoes and add that to the pot. I leave the skins on, so. And then once this is cooked for another hour, it'll just simmering, it's just on a simmer, and it'll cook for 1 more hour. Then I'll pull the bone out, and I will use my immersion blender, and I'll blend it up, and then it'll be ready to serve. So it's a very easy soup, that's for sure. But it's really hearty. Like, it's one of those ones, it's very, very hearty. And if you were cooking a bone-in ham, then you don't have any extra expense. Now, I went out and bought a ham hock, which was like $8 or $9 for it. So I did buy the ham hock, but it's because I didn't have a bone-in ham. If I'd had a bone-in ham, I would have just used that. And the hams were really expensive in the store that day. So I'm going to take this over to the pot and stir it in. And then I will come back once that next hour is up. Well, we've reached that part of the video where we get to see the final product. Unfortunately, you don't get to have a taste. I wish I could do that for you. Okay, just let me hold this steady. Well, no, I can't hold it steady. I will just lift the lid here. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera around. And there, now at the very end, I took my immersion blender, and you can blend it just as much as you want. It's, hang on, I got to try and go like this so that you can see how mine is. Okay, I've got a few chunks, but I like to have a few chunks left into it. But I don't like to have it all chunky. So therefore I do use the immersion blender at that point in order to finish it off. Well, I hope you've all had a wonderful Monday, and we will see you all back here tomorrow.